What's happening? What up? What it do? That's for sure. But everybody in my city say, what up, doe? What up? What up, doe? What up? Salute, salute, salute. Big M, what up, doe? Salute, salute, salute. Can you hear me, Big M? Should be able to hear me, everybody. Alright, let's start it off with the copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act, allowance is made for the fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research, y'all. Y'all heard me say it. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal tips the balance in favor of fair use. Alright, thanks, Big M. Again, salute to you, Big M. Salute, salute, salute to everybody, to the replay gang. Let yours truly and the biggest M. I know, know what you think. If you agree, disagree, like, comment, share the live in my TikTok voice, y'all. And everybody coming in and out of the live, if you could kindly take whatever finger you would like, real smooth like, real cool like, and tap on the thumbs up button for yours truly and the biggest M. I know, and there's emojis on the right, those heart and the hundreds, like tap on those. YouTube it helps push us, I guess. Whatever. Click on those emojis, y'all. Subscribe to the channel. It's free 99. Subscribe if you like to become a member. Me and Big M did agree. You would look better in green over here, but it's just our opinion. Grab you a green spring jacket. It's warming up in Detroit. You can maybe hang up those winter coats. Get you a green spring jacket. Alright, y'all. So first, let's start it off with this one real quick.
Chief here in Cleveland on the case of two young girls being found partially buried in two suitcases. This was behind Ginn Academy. Their bodies were discovered by a man walking his dog. His dog actually hit on or smelled the first suitcase, and that's when police were called. Let's get you live now to the update.
Out and located the deceased individual that was in a shallow grave inside of a suitcase. The officers immediately began their investigation as they canvassed the area for any potential evidence on scene. The officers located what appeared to be a second shallow grave, and they could tell that there was a second suitcase in that location. The officers at that time identified that there was a body inside of that second suitcase as well. The medical examiner's office responded out, and they took custody of the individuals and for their further investigation. So we completed our investigation on scene. The only updates we have at this time are that the individuals are two juvenile black females. The one individual is suspected to be anywhere between the ages of 8.5 to 13. The second is estimated to be of the age of 10.5 to 14. At this time, there are no clear indicators of the cause of death of the two young females, and we're asking.
Y'all, this was 1 day ago. Did you hear those ages? I remember what happened to those two kids that did that to that one shorty that was 5 years old. The sticks and the urination and all that. I ain't heard no update on that. That was in Ohio. And now these two girls allegedly put two girls in a suitcase in a shallow grave. This is America.
If anyone has any information, saw anything suspicious in the area, that they are to contact the Cleveland Division of Police Homicide Unit at 216-623-4645. 5464. We will be operating that line 24 hours a day, so someone will be available to answer those calls. Or they can call Crime Stoppers at 216-252-7463. At this time, we don't know how long the juveniles have been at this location. It was some time, so it's not just something that was recent. The investigation is ongoing. We have to wait for results from the medical examiner, and from there, we should have an update once we have further information. So if you have any questions, we'll open it up.
The body's dismembered.
No.
And approximately how big are these suitcases if you were to...
I am not going to give that information right now, so the only thing I do ask is if somebody saw something that was suspicious involving something that sounds familiar, I don't want to give certain information out that could tamper the investigation.
Were the two victims related?
No, we don't have any identification of either of the victims at this time.
But
Do you have any suspects?
No.
they're missing persons, missing children that match the two girls that were found?
So it's a good question. We have checked our, locally, we have no reports of any missing children that match these identifications. We are checking statewide as well. We also have the assistance from our federal, state, and local partners. This is a priority. This is a traumatic event for our officers, for the community. And, this is just such a tragic incident. But we are trying to develop any leads we can. That's why we're also asking for the community's help.
I know in last night's press release, you said that the department said there's no ongoing threat to the public. What leads investigators to come to that conclusion?
When we say that, it's more, we know that this didn't just happen. We still have to develop exactly when this happened, and, we don't have any indication that there's a clear threat to safety.
Can you give any sort of update on the condition of the bodies that are found? I know you said it's been some time. This isn't something that just happened, but any sort of...
So right now, the only thing we could say, there's no clear indicators. So there's nothing that's visible enough to determine what the cause of death was.
It's so easy to become a podcaster with Riverside. First, go to Riverside and open an account.
We had heard, Chief, that perhaps these children were malnourished. Is that something that you heard as well?
I don't have a comment on that. I would defer to the medical examiner once their results come out.
Were the individuals clothed?
I will also defer to the medical examiner on that at this time.
Was there any identification inside the suitcase or a name on a shirt, like a kid's shirt, or anything that would lead you to...
Unfortunately, we have no indicators right now of the identity of the children involved.
Should we believe that they're local? Or do
We
not know that
can't
yet?
even determine that at this time.
Can you kind of describe that neighborhood to us? Or is there often foot traffic in that area where the bodies?
Yeah, so the caller in this incident was just a resident from the area who was walking their dog through the area. This is a field close to the school over there. This is just a residential neighborhood that I'm sure a lot of people do frequent. The weather has been, changing recently. The snow's been thawing, so it's really hard to determine the length of time at this point.
There are some businesses around there with cameras that appear to be pointing. I don't know how far they go, but have you been gathering some of that evidence?
Yeah, so our detectives have been out there actively walking the neighborhoods and gathering the information. The difficult part is that timeline, how far you have to look back, and a lot of cameras don't capture historical data, so we are currently still canvassing for that. So if someone has cameras and they want to, just do a cursory review to see if they have anything suspicious, please let us know and give us a call.
For anyone watching this story, you want people to come forward who may have seen something suspicious. What are some things that, should set off an alarm and they should contact you about?
Anything that you see that's out of the ordinary. Did you see anyone spending a significant amount of time in that area? Someone who seems out of sorts to your neighborhood. Usually in residential areas, what's happening in your neighborhood. Something just seems a little bit off. That's why we're asking that anyone who has anything that they believe to be information directly related to or suspicious, that they give us a call.
Chief, we had heard that the FBI, perhaps U.S. Marshals, were out searching yesterday. Does that search have anything to do with these missing individuals?
No, that's not connected.
Are you working with any other agencies in this? Maybe the FBI, maybe, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, anything like that?
We are working with all of our federal, state, and local partners. From Department of Children and Family Services to CMSD to the FBI, this is a priority investigation.
As far as your knowledge, have you had any other cases here locally similar to this where children were found in suitcases or missing people or like anything like this before?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Chief, can you describe, when it involves children, I mean, it takes this crime to another level.
It does.
Can you talk about that?
So when you look at that, you have an individual who's a resident who locates the trauma that happens right there, and at the end of the day, our officers are just regular people, and their parents, and it's something that a lot of officers never have to experience. We hope they would never have to experience, and it's traumatic for everyone, and it's traumatic just for those who live in the area to know that this was right there outside their doorstep.
Should people be on heightened alert in and around this area?
I think all residents should always be cautious to the ongoings of their neighborhoods. Just, keeping alert for anything that is suspicious and always reporting it. We can't do police work alone. It takes the community to be a part of that, to call us, to let us know if something in their neighborhood is suspicious that needs, something for us to take a further look at.
Have you been in contact with, CMSD, any local schools, things like that, working with their
We're
principals?
working with everybody. Yep.
Can I ask, I know you say you don't want to give away too many details, but the brand of suitcase, perhaps? Would
Yeah,
that be a
I
way as an
appreciate the
indicator?
question, but because of the integrity of the investigation, I just can't give those specifics at this time.
You're here because you want to make a difference.
And as soon as we develop more leads or we have additional information, we will keep you updated. As soon as, the coroner's office has more for us, we will keep you updated on that information. We just want to, the most important thing is misinformation gets out there quickly. And we want to clarify exactly what we know at this time. The delay in, us giving the update is because this is it's a sensitive investigation and there wasn't a lot to go on at this point, so we want to give you as much factual information that we have as soon as we could.
Are there any solid leads right now?
No.
Can I ask, and you may not be able to give it, but can you classify how badly decomposed these bodies were? Was it a great amount? Obviously, that's going to impact the investigation. If that's
Well, I'm going to leave it to the coroner's determination because they take custody of the bodies and, they're doing their review right now, so they will probably provide that update when they're complete.
So Chief, what is your next steps?
As far as?
Like, where do you go from here? What will you do shortly after this news conference?
So I can tell you that, one, we're establishing a 24-hour response line. Our investigators, not just on this investigation, but on many, they spend countless days, nights, hours, whatever it takes, sleepless nights on this investigation. We are working with all of our partners. We are we're canvassing, we're talking to people, and the best thing is to find answers. It's just terrible, horrific situation.
Do you have any idea how long it'll take the medical examiner's office to get?
We don't. I don't want to talk about their timelines, but hopefully we'll have something soon.
When do you anticipate the next update?
As soon as we have something more. We want to make sure that we keep the community updated, but I'm giving you what we have right now. So as soon as we have something further. But again, I encourage anyone, if they saw anything suspicious, if they know anything related to kids that are missing, that they please call us. And that's the most important thing. 216-623-5464. Someone will be responding to that line 24 hours.
Man, that's crazy. That poor little girl, yo. And it's allegedly two teenage girls, or maybe, who knows, just two young girls who did this to the two other girls. We don't even know how old they are. Let's see. And now we have this one I wanted to show y'all.
Tonight, a Pontiac principal is asking if anyone from Children's Protective Services listened when her school raised serious red flags about the safety of 2 young boys.
Prosecutors say those boys would be starved and abused by their family, despite more than a half dozen warnings made to CPS.
This story will be difficult for you to watch, but it reveals all the missed opportunities to keep these boys safe in the hopes that whatever is broken inside CPS can be fixed.
Here's 7 investigator Ross Jones.
When 9-year-old Jonathan Bazan was brought to a Pontiac hospital last November, he weighed just 33 pounds and was clinging to life.
He was not breathing on his own. The first nurse who saw him could not feel a pulse. You could see every rib on both sides, front and back. You could count them visibly with your eyes.
Prosecutors say his family starved Jonathan and his older brother Ethan for a period of months, if not years. And the alleged abuse and torture only stopped, they say, when an emaciated Jonathan was brought to an ER by his older brother.
He had noticeable marks on his body from trauma. There was bruises on his face, neck, and shoulders.
What happened to these boys did not come out of nowhere. It followed not 1 or 2 warnings to Children's Protective Services, but 8. 8 different complaints made in less than 3 years.
I get it, they have a lot of cases, but when you constantly getting a case on the same thing, it's like, wait a minute, something needs to be done.
Most of the warnings can be traced back to Whitman Elementary in Pontiac, where both Jonathan and Ethan were students. Dr. Letha Hopkins Powell is the principal. Even after repeated complaints seemed to go nowhere, she didn't stop.
Some people let it go, some don't. I'm one, I can't let it go. When it's on my heart, and I know God has put this on my heart, I can't let it go.
The complaints, documented in law enforcement records we've obtained, began in March of 2022. Jonathan was eating out of the trash can, CPS was told. He had unexplained bruises on his arm, and his mother had struck him with a spoon. Later that fall, according to a second complaint, Jonathan arrived at school with a swollen face and black eye. He told teachers 3 different explanations about how the injury happened, records show, and that his father told him to tell the doctor his black eye happened at school.
What does it tell you as an educator when a child keeps changing their story?
Something is not right. They're afraid.
The third complaint came in February of 2023, when a school social worker noticed that Jonathan's pockets had been sewed shut, presumably so he couldn't hide food. A complaint in October said both boys obsess over food and are malnourished. Their family told CPS that Jonathan suffered from a hormone issue that could cause him to eat more than he should, and that limiting his food was for his own good. It's not clear from the law enforcement records how CPS responded to the complaints, but we know they kept coming.
Did you really listen to the kids? Or did you go in the house and say, well, you know, the house is clean, food in the refrigerator? What were you looking for?
The
Y'all, this came out 1 hour ago. 1 hour ago, this story came out. Wow. CPS. When are they going to be held accountable? This is in Michigan too, y'all.
Seventh complaint, lodged in November, reported that Jonathan appeared at school with a face so swollen his eyes were nearly closed. 3 months later, Ethan would tell CPS that his mother always hits him and is punishing him, that his toenail came off after she struck his foot with a mop, that she stepped on his neck, leg, and feet as punishment, forced him to eat hot peppers, and perform forced exercises. By last fall, the boys had been pulled out of school, and in November, Jonathan would be brought to the emergency room in Pontiac. Doctors said he was skin and bones. His temperature only 91 degrees. He was not breathing on his own.
I'd never seen a child this malnourished. I'd never seen a child who looked as sick and emaciated and as near death as Jonathan.
Their principal sat in court last Friday, recounting all the ways she tried to protect her students.
And nothing changed. sitting there in that courtroom and seeing those photos?
It was hard. It was hard. I felt I did good until I saw those pictures.
He's a caring older brother who wants to take care of those boys.
In court, the attorney for Jonathan and Ethan's older brother Carlos denied police and prosecutors' claims that he tortured or abused the boys and said the family utilized holistic medicine to treat each of their unique health problems.
These are poor, uneducated laborers trying to do the best that they can. And sometimes that means using home remedies when you don't have insurance.
Carlos's father Arturo and his wife Dulcie waived their right to a preliminary exam. The cases against all three were bound over to circuit court.
We had 3 adults, and nobody rescued these kids.
You see, that principal was quick. She said, I'm covering my ass. 8 reports. I didn't know. I thought this was a new one. But this is the children of the couple in the sun out of Pontiac, Michigan. Big M! Salute.
Salute. I had to come in. I couldn't take that. When I seen the pictures, oh wow.
I can't believe they showed that on the news, but that was horrible. You know, that reminded me of, have you ever seen The Boy in the Striped Pajamas on Netflix? Huh?
No.
Oh. Well, you remember, that one guy from Germany did to 6 million people? That's what he reminded me of in history class, seeing pictures and going to the Holocaust Museum in Farmington Hills, seeing pictures. That's exactly what it took me to. Little boy. That's sad. He looked... and Big M, I didn't know it was them 2 couples, neither. I thought it was a new one.
This is crazy. Wow.
Yeah, and again, I can't believe they showed that. That's crazy, but I hope the baby boys are getting healthier. And no home remedy that I know, because I'm down for the home remedies. I mean, home remedies, okay? Like garlic, real garlic, that one, that's a good one. But it ain't gonna do that to you.
The attorney for Arturo Bazan did not respond to a call, text, and email seeking comment. His wife Dulcie's attorney said his client maintains her innocence and is praying for the safety and well-being of the children. The attorney for the boy's older brother Carlos says that he was trying his best to protect Jonathan and Ethan, and he believes that any trauma or pain they endured happened at the school, not at home. All 3 defendants have pleaded not guilty.
If you've written a book,
not them blaming the school. Wow. I'm glad the principal spoke up, or I don't know if she's speaking up or covering her butt, but again, there's 8 reports. CPS, I'm scared of y'all.
It's crazy.
and you're dreaming of publishing it and sharing your story with the world, but you're not.
Our other top story tonight, a teacher in Pontiac is no longer with the district after a video has gone viral showing her berating students.
Yeah, what?
This was 2 hours ago. 2 hours ago. Pontiac, yo. What?
Watch this.
Deal with your you calm down. You calm down. You calm down, boy. Now, nothing. Your mama gonna come beat the out of me. So we calling people to beat the out of each other. All right. All right. All right. Is that what we doing? Okay. Is that what we deal with?
Difficult to understand with all the bleeps, but let's go to Erica Erickson for more context. She's live tonight on this. Erica, some parents you talked to are outraged over this.
Yeah, they're certainly outraged. This all kind of started over an argument with some of the kids. Now they say it's time for change, not only in the school, but in the district.
Oh, your mama gonna come beat the out of me.
This rant recorded, now spreading like wildfire online.
All right. All right. Is that what we doing?
Showing who the Pontiac School District says is a teacher just a second day on the job Tuesday.
This is not a school. That's what they told me when I came here.
In longer versions of the video sent to Local 4, the freshman teacher.
I'm 53 years old. This little peon is sitting up in here calling me a girl.
Is heard arguing with students using derogatory language, then threatening to leave.
Sis, you sound.
One parent whose teenage son witnessed and recorded the now viral rant, Kayla Burns, says she's disgusted.
When a teacher's calling kids the B word, the A word, and the N word, I think that needs to be addressed right away.
Now, Burns and the mother of another student in the video say they're really upset because they say this isn't the first time a staff member has been inappropriate with their kids.
But as some call to, quote, bring that teacher back, and, quote, we need more teachers like her.
Anybody who sees that video and blames the child for being a child, or the parent who's advocating for that child, then I got to question their integrity.
The district says the video doesn't reflect their values or staff standards, and she no longer works there. Other parents now demanding change.
I know you lying. Bitch, I would have been that mom, just like you said. I'm so glad none of my shorties. I would have been that mom for sure. You crazy. Like, you're supposed to be an example. You're a leader. You're a person in power. And we're about to see another one. We're about to hear what this daycare worker did. This is crazy, yo. It's every day.
Changes from the top down.
I want a letter to go out to every student's parent. We are deeply sorry that your child had to witness that disturbing, disgusting behavior from a teacher we hired.
Again, some parents say this goes a lot deeper than some kids allegedly threatening to call their mom to fight their teacher. We did get a lengthier statement from the district about Burns' concern specifically. They say in part, quote, district and school administrators have been engaged with the parent for several months to review concerns, address questions, and work toward resolution through appropriate school and district processes. Our focus remains on maintaining a safe and respectful learning environment for all students. Meanwhile, a lot of support coming in for that teacher online. A GoFundMe has also been created for her. Reporting live in Pontiac.
This is America. I don't know, like, she could have got her kudos, but you did it all wrong. It's all about how you do it. It's all about how you say it, what you say. Yeah. What about, anybody ever seen Dangerous Minds with Michelle Pfeiffer? Or, let's say, what's another one? Freedom Riders, I think. They give her a little bit of a hard time. You see how they reacted, right? Nowhere close to that.
Yeah. And all those actually are movies. In real reality, people, these kids nowadays got a mouth like a mother sucker. So what did they say to her to make her go off like that? It has to go. What was said to make her show the whole conversation, the whole interaction, not just that part when she snapped. What made her snap? Did she just come off and just snap? I'm quite sure she didn't.
Oh yeah, I definitely don't think it's out of the blue. These kids are bad as hell out here for sure. I agree with you. But I just do think, as being an adult and especially a teacher, you had training and you have credentials.
And also, you're a human being.
Yeah, that part.
You gonna if they disrespecting her to a degree, you don't know what them kids said. Them kids can say some tough shit, and did some stuff, talked about her, talking about their mama. You don't know what them people say.
No, you're right, because listen, look at what them kids just did to them 2 little girls and put them in the grave. And they said between 9 and...
What grade was this?
Freshman, 9th grade.
Oh hell. And Pontiac, they said fucking real shit. I'ma call my mama, gonna beat your. I'm quite sure they will.
And right by Pontiac, isn't that right by Oxford where Ethan Cromley did that junk? I'm pretty sure it is. Cause he was in Oakland County courtrooms, and his parents. Man, it's getting wild out there, yo. And Big M, when I was looking at when we were doing it, you know how many Detroit weapon incidents or pokings, and they usually it's nationwide. It's like a big headliner. But as I was clicking through, I'm like, there's been a lot of school violence in Detroit. Way more than I knew. Way more than that was covered, that I think should be covered, do all Detroit schools have metal detectors, or just some? I think it's only some. They're supposed to all have them, but if you know.
My kids didn't go to Detroit public schools. I don't know anything about their school system. Well, my oldest boy, he went to Kettering for a semester, and then when he was shot at Henry Ford, he didn't even go to Henry Ford.
Right, I remember that. He was just with his friend, right?
He went to meet his brother at the bus stop. He went to Inkster High. Him and his brother went to Inkster High, and the bus stop was right there by. Yeah.
Man, that's crazy work. All right, hold on, y'all. Oh, I'm not gonna play it, but another BLK man, did 27 years that he cannot get back. Was released from prison, which Kim Worthy put him there. 27 years. In my demonstration I broke down, this has got to be like the 25th man, and they all got $1 million lawsuits. He's about to have one too. Actually, let's hear from him. Fuck it.
If your resume looks like this, you're not getting hired. This layout, no structure, no order, it's just too chaotic. I can't even read this.
A man's murder conviction vacated. A Wayne County judge dismissing the case against 56-year-old George Callicutt Jr. Back in 1999, Virgie Perkins was murdered in her home in Detroit. Callicutt was sentenced to life in prison. Investigators now believe the officer who interviewed him coerced a false confession. Fox News' Charlie Langton spoke with Callicutt about his conviction and his future.
The system is the system. I think people fail people. We put people in positions and trust them that they would do the right thing in the positions that we that we bestow upon them. And anytime you have flawed people doing flawed work, then this is what happens.
You know, it's really, I mean, it's amazing. I would be a lot more bitter. You seem to have a great attitude. I can't believe it. You're out. A miracle. A miracle.
I am grateful. I am extremely grateful to everybody that worked on this case to make what happened happen. And, you know, I'm out here now. It's not what it once was when I left it, but I'm happy to be experiencing it right now. And so, you know, once they open the doors and let you out of prison, you kind of drop a lot of the baggage that you've been carrying for a long time.
The shoes on the other foot, I would feel the same way.
The Wayne County Prosecutor's Office says that had the jury known about the information about the officer's pattern of coerced confessions, Callicutt would have never been convicted in the first place.
Kim Worthy, your famous line, no comment, would have worked really good on this one. What? Wow.
Now they say it, right?
First at 4, we are learning the name of the man who was shot and killed in Muskegon Heights yesterday. It comes as more questions still remain with no answers from police about the recent violence in the city. News 8's Adriana Doria has been in Muskegon Heights all afternoon and joins us now with what we are learning. Adriana.
Amber, the latest information that we are learning actually earlier this afternoon is family has officially confirmed and identified the victim of that deadly shooting as 26-year-old Robert Fletcher Jr. As you can imagine, this is a very tragic situation for them and also this entire community that has had to be around a string of gun violence happening here. I've been out here all afternoon talking with different neighbors in the area, all asking the question of how did something like this happen and what is being done to fix that. Now, I want to also add, too, we have made multiple attempts to try to get in touch with Muskegon Heights Police. We have not gotten any response back from them, even just to comment on what happened yesterday. So if we get any of that, we'll be sure to update you if we do. But I want to go into a little bit about this victim, Robert Fletcher Jr. You can see him here on your screen. Family did not want to go on camera because, again, they're obviously going through a very challenging time right now, but they say he was a loving person. He was loved by so many, and he will be truly missed by family, friends, and the community. We have more photos of him and also a full statement from his cousin on woodtv.com. Now, just to kind of go through what happened yesterday, obviously we covered this a lot in 4, 5, and 6 yesterday. Muskegon Heights police tell us that the shooting happened around 4:45 yesterday near East Hovey Avenue and Getty Street. Witnesses say that they heard upwards of 25 shots, and we are told Fletcher died at the hospital. Then, as officers were investigating that shooting, another round of gunshots could be heard, even on our Wood TV camera. Police then confirmed that there was another shooting just about 200 yards away with one victim that is injured in the hospital. We don't know that victim's status at this time. We have also not received any word about potential suspects involved in either of these shootings, or really if there is a threat to the public at this time. Those are all questions we're working to get answers to. But this string of violence has left this community angry and heartbroken that more and more people are dying. I talked with the owner of Carter Funeral Home here, which assists with a lot of Muskegon families' funerals during their time of grief. He says in just the last few months alone, he has had about 6 funerals, all related to gun violence, and he's frustrated that this keeps happening.
When will it ever stop? I'm exhausted. Holding my tears back today, I am exhausted. If they want to know, I'm exhausted. I love what I do, and I'm going to continue to do it until it's my time, but I'm exhausted.
I just want to let you know, my guy, knowing the tears, that they don't work. But I wonder how Wayne County medical examiner feels. I wonder if they're exhausted.
exhausted to keep having to sit with a family because they lost their loved one through gun violence that's senseless. And it's happening more and more in this small community. And there's something we got to do.
Powerful words there from him. A very difficult job that he is doing, but one he says he loves to do and hopes he can continue to do to serve this community, but he shouldn't have to for victims of gun violence. The family also confirming to us that they are holding a vigil.
Hold on. You're a medical examiner. Your job is to examine whatever comes through the door. They're like, and no medical examiner should have to, do that. But that's part of the job. But I dig it. If only we lived in a perfect world.
And balloon release at his aunt's house. That's on Howden Street. That's going to start at 5 o'clock. We have been invited to attend, so we'll be heading there right after this, and we'll be bringing you that live at 5 and 6 tonight, and more on our website as well, woodtv.com. For now,
build a website you love with Wix, where your words create your brand.
Of the Bronx and sentencing day for the daycare operators responsible for the fatally exposing a toddler to fentanyl in 2023. It was a gut-wrenching day in court as the parents of the boy addressed the couple responsible for the tragedy. Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles is live in the Melrose section of the Bronx with more on this story. Darla.
Well, David, the parents of Nicholas Dominici had a chance to address the two people convicted in their son's murder today, and those two people had a chance to apologize to the family today. But when you talk about how gut-wrenching and difficult this day was today, one thing can sum all of this up. The mother told the court, Zola Dominici says she cannot wait until the day that she dies, until she can see her son again. And because he's not coming back, these two people should never get out of jail.
Those 25 years to life plus those 45 years on federal court is enough time for who is expecting come out. They never gonna come out.
The parents of Nicholas Dominici leaving the Bronx criminal courthouse Wednesday afternoon, clinging to a large portrait of their son.
We fight. We pray every day to wake up and have the power to be standing on that courthouse. It's not easy.
This uneasy final chapter in their 2.5-year nightmare in the fentanyl death of their 22-month-old son, ending with the sentencing hearing for former daycare owner Gray Mendez and her husband Felix Herrera Garcia, convicted of second-degree murder in the toddler's death.
No debe salir nunca de la cárcel.
You should never get out of jail, Zoila Dominici telling the court. Menendez and Garcia sitting with their hands cuffed behind their backs as the grieving parents described the day Nicholas died in September 2023. She says, I see my heart bleeding from his mouth. The doctors did everything they could to bring him back to life, but it was too late. He had been dead for a while.
On 2023, we celebrate my birthday. 2 days later, this happened.
The couple sentenced 25 years to life in Dominici's death to run concurrently with a 45-year sentence on federal drug charges in this case.
I just want to apologize to the family of the children that I was caring for. They said that I never apologized, but I have apologized. I would like to say I'm sorry to the family.
It is a measure of justice because now they are fully accountable. Drug charges in the federal system, murder charges, and assault charges in the Bronx.
And after everything was over, the proceeding was over, the sentencing hearing, which lasted about an hour, the parents, the entire family, in fact, said they were headed to the grave site to celebrate the sentencing where Dominici, their 22-month-old son, is buried. Reporting live in the Melrose section of the Bronx, Darla Miles, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Editing your podcast on Riverside is a no-brainer, and I want to show you why. Your podcast transcript is here.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Sergeant Freddie Diaz, Public Information Officer of Division of Police. Just wanted to provide a very short update in regards to the ongoing investigation of the 2 homicides that our homicide unit is investigating. This evening, our homicide unit conducted a search warrant here in this area of East 162nd and Midland. As part of that ongoing investigation and search warrant, the investigators were able to identify and detain a person of interest. At this point, the investigation obviously is ongoing. This person is going to be interviewed, and we're going to hope to continue this investigation and gather more leads. This is not an arrest at the moment. It's just a person of interest that we're looking to talk to and gain some more information. As you can imagine, all our resources, every possible lead that we have been receiving, every possible agency that we're able to work with, we're working to arrest those responsible person or persons that are responsible for this crime. At this point, this is all the update I can provide. We're hoping to be able to provide a little bit more.
And first at 5, a Metro Detroit man faces charges tied to a toddler found inside an impounded car. Good evening, I'm Charlie Langton. Today, the man who allegedly left that child inside that car went before a judge. Fox News' Lauren Edwards is live in Harper Woods with what we learned in court. Lauren.
Charlie, I can tell you that court just wrapped up and police saying that this is nothing short of a miracle. And I can also tell you that the suspect, we don't know. It's unclear if he's the father. That was not stated as well in court. But let's get into all the details and what you need to know, because there's lots to get to. Now, this is Orlando Murnell Linson appearing in court in Harper Woods, charged with child abuse 2nd degree and child abuse leaving a child in a vehicle resulting in physical harm. He pleaded not guilty. Police say on Friday, a vehicle was improperly parked in a neighborhood in Harper Woods. They say it was towed to a lot over in East Point. Then Saturday morning, Harper Woods police got the call from Detroit police that a 13-month-old may be inside. And according to initial reports from police, the vehicle belonged to the father. Now, this is what Chief Jason Hammerly had to say about how it all unfolded on Saturday.
The mother in this case went to the Detroit Police Department on Saturday morning. We're not sure on the time frame.
So it sounds like they just assumed he was a father because that car was in. This is foul as hell. Oh, man.
So he leave the baby in the car for some time and have it towed, and it took him a day and a half to figure out the baby was missing or in the car.
No, listen to this. We're about to hear, because how in the fuck, even if the car was locked, nobody heard or saw. So putting the car on the fucking tow truck, driving it to the tow lot, putting the car down. And I'm pretty sure, don't they have to get in the vehicle to park it where they want to park it at the tow lot? And nobody heard or saw this baby for a day and a half.
No, they did the flatbed.
Yeah, they could just drop it right where they want it. Damn. But let's keep listening. This is interesting.
Made contact with the detective, filed the missing report for the 1-year-old. That detective did an outstanding job by locating the car, considering it wasn't yet registered to the suspect in this case. He was able to locate the plate number and the VIN number, tracked it down to Woods Towing, and that detective responded immediately to the tow yard. He's the one who made contact and peered into the windows and found the child in the rear seat.
He realizes that this was just a bad decision made in a split second, so we're hoping that he can have a personal bond so that he can adjudicate this case and get back to his family quickly, Your Honor.
Now, you just heard from Linson's attorney there, just asking for the $100,000 bond, which is what the judge gave. And as for the baby, because we, of course, asked about the baby, the last we heard, it was being medically evaluated at a local hospital and is with Child Protective Services. Please stick with Fox 2 for all updates in this case. Reporting live here.
Turning now to a father accused of making a grave mistake, and it could have cost his young son his life.
This is head-scratching for sure. We first told you about a toddler who was left alone in a vehicle that police did not know.
Y'all just heard her. Head-scratching. Yeah, for sure. What? This is wild.
About which was later towed. Well, today, that father appearing in court facing child abuse charges. This as questions mount over why Harper Woods police did not search the vehicle before ordering it to be towed away.
7 News Detroit reporter Randy Wembley spoke to a veteran in law enforcement who says that officer dropped the ball.
Orlando Linson Jr. charged with second-degree child abuse. He's accused of leaving his 13-month-old son in an illegally parked vehicle in Harper Woods last Thursday night, a car that was impounded to this East Point tow lot the next day. In court, investigators pushed for a high cash bond.
Mr. Linson Jr. has 10 active warrants for his arrest, and he does not have a residence at this time. So if he does bond out, I'm concerned that he may be in the wind and we have no way to find out where he may be.
Davon Darby, Linson's court-appointed attorney, says her client made a mistake.
Mr. Linson is employed at the Little Caesars Arena as a security guard. He also is a father of 5, and he realizes that this was just a bad decision made in a split second.
Police are not saying what Linson was doing when he allegedly left his son alone in the car. Investigators say the toddler was inside the vehicle from Thursday night to Saturday afternoon, when Detroit and Harper Woods cops discovered the crying boy pinned between a car seat and a passenger door at the tow lot. Earlier that day, the child's mother went to DPD's 9th Precinct to report him missing. A detective learned Harper Woods police had impounded her boyfriend's vehicle and suspected the toddler might be inside.
That detective did an outstanding job by locating the car, considering it wasn't yet registered to the suspect in this case.
Harper Woods Police Chief Jason Hammerly says the officer who impounded the vehicle did a visual inspection but did not see the child inside. And because the car was locked, it was not, quote, thoroughly inventoried. I asked if officers had lockout tools to check inside.
We do not possess those type of tools. I'm satisfied that our officer followed the policy, our policy in that incident. We cannot enter or damage locked vehicles. And he did a visual inspection from the outside, and I'm satisfied with that.
Retired Detroit Assistant Police Chief Steve Dolan believes Harper Woods should have done more.
They couldn't get into it right away. From what I've seen in the past, all tow yards have a Slim Jim or some way to get in the cars. Now, granted, the car wasn't flagged. The officer who impounded it thought, okay, it's an impound, no big deal. In this case, it was.
Again, Child Protective Services is now involved in this case. As for Linson, he remains locked up on a $100,000 bond.
I want to know what time of day it was when he went and looked at that, because I'm so confused. It'd have been one thing if the tow truck driver just came, but they called the police investigated, and then had the car towed. He didn't look for shit. He pulled up, said, come tow this fucking car, and pulled the fuck off. We all know that's what the fuck happened. Crazy work. And, for me anyway, hearing CPS is involved doesn't do shit but scare me even more for that child.
He is due back in court March 11th. In Harper Woods, I'm Randy Wembley, 7 News Detroit.
Thank goodness that child is okay. Thank you, Randy.
My name is Julie, and I live in Sheepshead Bay. Last year in 6th grade, something.
Well, 2 workers at a Smoothie King in Ann Arbor fired. Viral video showed them allegedly refusing service to a couple because one of them is wearing a Trump hoodie. Let's get live to Fox 2's Dave Kinchin in Ann Arbor with a look at the controversy. Dave.
Yeah, Rip, this video has gone ultra viral. Now, this is the Smoothie King behind me here on Jackson Road in Ann Arbor, where all of this went down. What we can tell you is the couple that says they're victims in this case recorded the exchange they had with those two now fired workers. Listen.
We were just wanting a smoothie, and you literally looked at us, and I asked you if everything was okay. You said, we don't feel comfortable serving you because of my husband's hoodie. Yes. That is discrimination.
Okay, well, have a great day. Like,
that is illegal.
So that's illegal to do.
So here's what happened at this Ann Arbor Smoothie King. The two workers are out of jobs after refusing to serve Erica and her husband Jake of Dearborn Heights. Jake is wearing a hoodie with President Trump's name on it. The workers said
discrimination, she just said. I think they got lucky because it had to do with the orange man, but I know you lying. This is America. I'm just gonna say that. This is fucking America, yo.
Only in America.
Thank you for making me laugh, Big M.
said they did not feel comfortable in this encounter, and the couple says they were clearly discriminated against, so much so a GoFundMe page was set up, created to help them fight their legal case that they believe they had. But is this really an act of discrimination that violates the Constitution? Well, we took that question to Detroit attorney Jonathan Marco for his take, but first, here's another look at that video.
Hey, you know that's a crime, right?
It's not.
Discrimination is a crime.
We have the right to refuse service here, and that's what we
Not
did.
due to political views, though.
A lot of people are surprised to find out that the constitutional freedom of speech does not apply to private businesses, which means private businesses can discriminate based on political viewpoint. If you could refuse service to somebody with a MAGA hat, or you could refuse service to somebody with a Kamala Harris hat. It's just the law. Now, there are some specific states that do have laws protecting political speech, including in the public venue. Michigan is not one of them, and the Constitution.
So, why the fuck were they fired? What? It sounds like discrimination for discrimination. Wow. This is America.
They got a right to sue. I mean, they can't sue, but they can't have a job. So
Discrimination for discrimination. I guess it's fair, right? Like eye for an eye. Crazy work.
Constitution itself, freedom of speech, does not apply to private businesses.
Now, Smoothie King's corporate office posted a statement on its social media that says, in part, quote, the franchise owner has taken immediate action and the two employees involved are no longer with the business. Both the franchise owner and Smoothie King corporate have reached out to the guests several times to apologize and will continue to follow up. The local owner is also taking further action and enforcing mandatory retraining for all employees that outlines our guest experience standards. Now, we did reach out to that couple to get a comment, find out more about their take on all of this. We haven't heard back just yet. Now, tonight on The Edge, we flipped the script a little bit. What about those two fired workers? Do they have a case in all of this in terms of constitutionality? Well, we talk with Attorney Marco about that on The Edge tonight. For now, reporting live in Ann Arbor, Dave Kinchin, Fox 2 News.
By golly. You know, I'm no nothing. I'm just yours truly, but he took the words right out my mouth. Damn. Because, again, discrimination for discrimination, if you ask me. But I thought two wrongs don't make a right. This is America.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've covered in the past bakers out there who were asked to bake cakes for same-sex couples for marriages. And in cases before, there's been precedents in which those bakers have said, we're not interested in baking the cake because we don't agree with same-sex marriage. And the Supreme Court, from what I understand, they actually ruled in favor of the bakers in this case. And so it's an interesting fight and one that does have some precedents.
Yeah, that was a legendary case that did make its way all the way to the highest court in the land. Could this case go to court? Well, that is a question there, and that might be one of the reasons why the folks involved in this aren't talking more publicly about it if they are getting lawyers. But we'll certainly follow this one and see where this case goes.
Yeah, we certainly will. Dave Kinchin for us live tonight. Thanks for that.
Before Zephy, we were fundraising to survive, and now we're fundraising to grow. We had a bunch of Google Sheets. We had some stuff here on Drive.
You can hear it before you see it. Neighbors on Detroit's east side say a loud, rumbling boiler has been keeping families up for weeks. The city now stepping in to try and quiet things down, ordering inspections and asking the business to fix the problem. But residents say the company isn't cooperating.
2 weeks ago, we told you about the problem in the West Village neighborhood. And tonight, of course, after our report, the city got involved, fining Riverview Health and Rehab Center for its noisy boiler.
But weeks later, the boiler is still active, and residents say the deadline to have it shut off has come and gone. Noelle Friel went back to the east side to see if she could get to the bottom of this.
Remember this? Right through these trees, you can see where a temporary boiler has been put up outside of this Riverview Health Rehab Center. And just feet away is a neighborhood. A couple of weeks ago, we told you about a temporary boiler set up outside this Riverview Health Rehab Center that was disturbing the surrounding neighborhood. Well, that boiler is still here, even after the city fined this facility thousands and asked the company to shut it off. This is what homeowners in West Village living near the rehab center on Jefferson Avenue have been hearing around the clock since this temporary boiler was put up last month.
I live 4 doors up the street, and you can hear it throughout the house. Louder on the cold days.
The city's Buildings, Safety, Engineering, and Environmental Department, or BSED, issued a letter ordering Riverview Health to shut off the boiler by February 26th. But that deadline came and went.
My guess is that they're probably trying to just run out the clock until their boiler's fixed and then claim they had no other way to do it.
Riverview Health hasn't responded to our requests for comment.
Thank you for calling the corporate offices of Riverview Health.
We visited their corporate offices in person during office hours. We even tried reaching out to the agent listed for the company on the state's Licensing and Regulatory Affairs website.
You've reached the cell phone of Richard Levin.
And still nothing. Residents living nearby tell us they've had the same experience.
They're just non-responsive when it comes to landscaping issues, waste in our alleys, summertime air conditioning, noise. Now
Welcome to Detroit City. Y'all be hearing the train. Y'all hear the train. I know y'all have heard it. Especially at night. It like shakes the fucking house. Shit. That's crazy. They don't give a fuck. They don't. Welcome to Detroit.
Now, this is just the latest example.
BC Director Dave Bell says the department has issued around $6,000 in fines so far and is continuing to fine Riverview Health at least $1,500 a day until the boiler is shut off. The city's law department has given the company until Friday to find a fix. If not, they're prepared to sue for nuisance abatement.
Our lawyer basically told them they have until Friday to solve this problem or else they're going to go to court with them.
Stand by. And we also reached out to the city council member representing this district, Renata Miller, who gave us a statement that says in part, quote, "I take quality of life concerns seriously because our residents deserve peace in their homes. BSED has taken the necessary enforcement steps, and I will stay actively engaged until this matter is resolved." And we've got the full response from the city in this story at clickondetroit.com. We're live.
Man, I'm glad I don't live by that loud ass thing.
A teenager attacked by an officer at the Warren jail is going on the offensive, taking the city to court for tens of millions of dollars. Thanks for being with us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Kimberly Gill.
I'm Devin Skillian. Officer Matthew Rodriguez fired from Warren Police this week for that incident in what the police commissioner called a clear and obvious decision, but that is far from the end of the story.
A new lawsuit says the city should pay, arguing the other officers seen in the video were not trying to stop the attack, but were instead part of it. Here to help us sort out the claims is Victor Williams. Victor, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Kimberly and Devin. We all knew that a lawsuit was potentially coming down the pipeline, but we had no idea it would be coming out this quickly. Not only is the city of Warren and the officer who is allegedly responsible for the attack listed as defendants, but the other two officers that were in that room as well.
The officer said, "Hurry up and take the picture, you little," and he said, "I ain't no."
Just 14 days after the now viral moment of an officer assaulting a 19-year-old carjacking suspect, a lawsuit has officially been filed against the city of Warren on behalf of Jaquan Smith and Fire Law.
He's about double the size of him.
The 30-page complaint is now seeking $50 million in damages. Jaquan's aunt Tanisha Banks is just happy he's still here.
The first thing that ran across my mind, did he survive?
Commissioner Bill Dwyer commenting on how quickly the lawsuit was filed.
Why do they have to rush to doing that?
I wish I could have got it filed sooner, but we did it as fast as we possibly could.
The big question is whether or not Jaquan received any injuries in the assault.
He was treated at the hospital for his injuries, and he was cleared of no injuries.
He is still, as of this day, having issues with head injuries. He's having headaches, dizziness, nausea, consistent with traumatic.
You know, who cares if he has any physical harm? He has to live with that shit for the rest of his life. What in the fuck? That is crazy.
19.
Right, and that man looks good in his 40s. That big ass, big old motherfucking big man.
He was like 3 times his size.
Dude, he clocked that. He ate that ish though. Man, that little dude. And he was handcuffed. Wasn't he handcuffed? I think he was. Hold on. Then he just throws him in the thing. Oh wait, no, he might not be.
He was. I don't think he was.
Dang, and yeah, these popos definitely. Dude, look at him right there. Oh my goodness, right here. When he picks him up by his butt, dude. Hold on, this is crazy. This is in Detroit.
And he said, "I ain't no."
Just 14 days after the now viral moment of an officer assaulting a 19-year-old.
No, it was in Warren.
Carjacking.
Oh yeah, my bad. Cause look at this. Look at this shit. That's after cocked the shit out of him. He is manhandling him. That's how a lot of people out here will probably do yours truly. Like Shrek and Fiona together. Yeah. Look at this shit. Totally unfair.
That's exactly how it will look.
What'd you say?
That's exactly how it will look.
Man, that prayer to this man, well, gets 50 million, millions of dollars. Wow. And they gave me funny.
Million.
This is America.
Only in America.
Suspect. A lawsuit has officially been filed days after the now viral moment of an officer assaulting a 19-year-old carjacking suspect. A lawsuit has officially been filed against the city of Warren on behalf of Jaquan Smith and Fire Law.
He's about double the size of him.
The 30-page complaint is now seeking $50 million in damages. Jaquan's aunt Tanisha Banks is just happy he's still here.
The first thing that ran across my mind, did he survive?
Commissioner
Good afternoon. I'm Karen Drew. That Detroit officer was suspended Monday for not responding to the shooting that killed Officer Rasheen McClain. Now, we've just learned the suspended officer was fired once before and got his job back. Let's get to live. Our Mara McDonald joins us now live, who just heard from Chief James Craig. And Mara, this case just gets messier.
Karen, we just got out of the briefing. We're inside DPD headquarters right now, and the chief went into great detail about this sergeant who they say body cam video shows he didn't do anything the night of the shooting that claimed Officer McClain's life. That sergeant is Sergeant Ronald Kidd. He has been on the department for 21 years. And you're right, he was fired back in 2014 for standing by as he watched his female partner get beaten on. He ultimately ended up with a plea agreement with the department, which allowed him to come back. He took 68 days unpaid, came back as a police officer, ultimately taking the promotional exam 2.5 years ago. Now, here's where things get interesting. The chief says the signature approving him being a sergeant may be his name, but it's certainly not his signature. So that has to be dealt with. But right now, the chief says this guy has got to go. Take a listen.
I will tell you that I have received a number of contacts from people in the organization who are angry, who are frustrated, and want him fired. As you now know, I very quickly, when I learned of this after our 72-hour brief, I quickly suspended him. He's in a suspended with pay status. We will be moving very quickly to address this case.
Back here live, the chief also says that they are considering going to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office to see whether his inaction the night of that shooting meets the standard of neglect of duty. The chief isn't calling it cowardice, but he's coming right up to the edge. You can tell he takes this very seriously. There is a lot to unpack from this press conference. I'll see you back here at 5 with the whole rundown. We're live at Detroit Police Headquarters. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
All right, some stunning developments there. We'll see you at 5.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI.
And we begin tonight with that 5th precinct officer who was with the department just over 1 year.
She was still on probation when an internal affairs investigation led to her arrest. 7 Action News reporter Brian Abel met with Police Chief James Craig.
And so, Brian, we want to know, how is the chief reacting to another one of his officers now being arrested?
Well, he says that it feels like betrayal, Carolyn, but he also adds that his team acted quickly, going so far as to bring the now former officer from the jail to DPD's headquarters here in her orange jumpsuit and handcuffs so that the chief could fire her.
It is a betrayal. It stains our badge. It affects us all.
Detroit's police chief, James Craig, just hours after firing one of his officers for allegedly trafficking drugs. The chief says DPD was made aware of the allegations Sunday morning, immediately launched an internal investigation, and by Sunday night, the 29-year-old officer was in custody.
Search warrants were executed. At some point during the evening, we initiated a traffic stop. Her companion was a felon in possession of a stolen firearm. Again, she was arrested based on the evidence that we recovered from our investigation.
The former 5th Precinct patrol officer had been on the force just over a year. The evidence, according to Craig, includes hard drugs.
At least one of the locations, we did recover rock cocaine and a very small amount of heroin. It was easy for me, based on the information, to make a decision to terminate her employment.
The arrest marks the latest suspected wrongdoing by a DPD employee. Back in January, the 7 investigators revealing at the time more than 60 officers had been criminally charged since 2016.
And in Dallas, too, a department with some 600 officers more than Detroit.
Craig said then, as he does now, that his department is holding itself accountable with a strong internal affairs unit that's getting rid of the bad apples.
When you wear that badge, there's a lot of responsibility that goes with that. Those who sway away from that and decide to take the public trust for granted, and they engage in crimes or other misconduct that erodes the public trust,
they can no longer be Detroit police officers.
Now, the chief wouldn't say how long they suspect that the drug trafficking has been going on for. They do say, however, that they plan on handing over the evidence to prosecutors who will be the ones who ultimately decide if charges will be filed. Reporting live to Detroit tonight, Brian Abel, 7 Action News.
All right. Thank you so much, Brian.
Hold on 1 second, y'all. If it shuts off, my computer died. I'm trying to plug it up real quick. Oh, shit. Alright, we made it. Alright, hold on 1 second.
For 4:30 this afternoon. There were no reported injuries. Michigan State Police were called to the scene where they found 3 bullet holes in the car belonging to the person who called police. 3 shell casings were also discovered at the scene. Police are investigating tonight and searching for the suspect who they say was driving a maroon passenger car. I-75 at Schaefer reopened after nearly 4 hours.
Michelob Ultra Zero. Zero alcohol.
We begin at 5 with a driver killed and a Michigan State Police trooper badly injured in a horrifying crash along a busy stretch of I-75. Tonight, investigators working to figure out what caused it in the middle of the morning rush. I want you to take a look at the damage from that crash. The state police cruiser just crushed on both the front and the back ends of the vehicle.
Here's where it happened. Busy stretch of I-75 downriver right near Dix Highway. Let's get out to our Will Jones. First, Will, do we have an update on the trooper's condition?
Devin and Karen, we just learned the officer is in critical condition. And we're also getting more information about how this accident happened. Witnesses are telling police that the driver of the SUV hit a median wall before going over to the shoulder and striking that officer's cruiser. What remains unclear is what caused this driver to do that.
He was pinned inside the car.
The Michigan State Police cruiser sandwiched between a tractor and an SUV after it was rear-ended. When emergency crews arrived, the motor carrier officer had to be extricated from his cruiser. This all unfolded around 8:30 this morning on the shoulder of northbound I-75 near Dix Highway, backing up traffic for miles.
We don't have all of the details of exactly what occurred out there, but I have staff, accident reconstructionists that will put that scene back together so that we can know exactly what occurred out there.
Police say the motor carrier officer was parked conducting a traffic stop when the crash happened. Fortunately, the officer was still wearing a seatbelt, which is MSP's policy. The officer and the female driver of the SUV were rushed to Detroit Receiving Hospital, where she passed away from her injuries. The trooper was up and talking this morning, surrounded by family. Those who live nearby the crash scene say they've seen far too many accidents here.
We get so many accidents on that stretch of the freeway that it's not really surprising, unfortunately. I've lived here for 15 years, and it seems like there's just constantly accidents on this stretch of the freeway specifically.
Michigan State Police, they're asking for prayers for the officer who is in critical condition. We're told he has been with the department for a little under 2 years. Coming up at 6, police want to remind drivers about the state's move over law. We're live in Lincoln Park. Will Jones, local.
Well, y'all, you can see this is America, but we're gonna end it like we always do. And my Winnie the Poohski voice, Christopher Robin, yo, you are smarter than you think. You're braver than you believe, and you're stronger than you seem, yo. I feel it in my heart and soul every time. It's all love, y'all. It's real over here. It's real true over here. Till next time, be smooth with it, be cool with it, and most importantly, be as true as you can be with it. Salute, salute, salute. Big M.
Peace. The mass